Almost Functional. This is David Dozal. I'm going to talk a little bit about matchups today, specifically the Thousand Suns and the Death Guard matchup a little bit. Um, Last video I put up about my current army changes and how I feel about taking on some big units, and kind of how I've adapted for that. Um, and Yeah, I was going to deep dive in a little bit more about this specific matchup. I know in my previous Grand Onslaught 9 video, I did talk a lot about those matchups for those games I played. So if you want to watch it, I think it was let me think, it was an Eldar matchup, a Liberius matchup, Imperial Knight matchup, and a Necron matchup. If you want a little bit hit more about how to fight other armies, go ahead and watch that video. It's got more of a deep dive into how you approach those armies. But today we're going to talk about Thousand Suns and Death Guard. So my army, I've got in my last video too. I kind of went over it again. Plays at board control and pushes forward with those transports and my infantry with the Dread Knight follow up and the infantry strike turn 2, turn 3. I never strike turn 1. Turn 1, you don't want to strike. You don't have enough command points. Things can go wrong. And you want to just stage. Bring out. You want to push forward with those transports. Get behind those walls. With the ones that you want to get behind the walls. Get on the objectives. The ones you want to get behind the objectives. Basically, just get out there. If they got a unit out there to shoot and it's worthwhile going for, let's say it's Doomsday Arc from Necrons. Go ahead and go out there and put those missiles and those last cannons into it. Taking out something like a Doomsday Arc, it's going to help you a lot. It's going to give you returns all game if you're able to take it out. And you've got 5 underkiller missiles and 4 last cannons. So you could probably take out that one vehicle. I'm not going to say you're going to take out 2 or 3. Most of the time, if it's a tough unit, you're only going to take out one of them with those. With all those guns, and surprisingly, but this is just the sad reality of how it goes when you roll and they roll saves with cover usually, and you roll your damage with those very random damage last cannons and hunter killers. That being said, let's go right into it. So Thousand Suns are a very interesting matchup. The main detachment and what is currently their best detachment, which is the index one, is going to have 4+ feel no pain against psychic attacks. They have a stratagem for 1 unit to get that 4+ feel no pain, and that is definitely a problem for Grey Knights. All of your damage is going to be psychic, almost all your damage. All your heavy sight cannons, your 1 Gatling silencer, or if you're running multiple Gatling silencers, go ahead because they're great. If you like those everything incinerators, I would say by all means go ahead and rock them out. They're very similar in how they do across the field. Your heavy sight cannons, your sight cannons on your infantry is going to be psychic. All of your close combat, except for the ones that are just going to be hitting them with their special weapon guns. All of your close combat is going to be psychic, even on the Dread Knight's huge hammer. All your nemesis weapons are psychic. All your purifying flame shots are psychic. So they're going to be able to get that 4+ feel no pain, and they're going to use that 1 command point all the time. Not only that, you might bait yourself thinking, "Oh, they're out of command points. I can go now strike that unit. It's not going to get feel no pain." But if you kill, like let's say you kill, they have a cultist unit on the board, and you end up killing it first. Well, they're probably they when the cultists die, they give them command points. So you suddenly give them their 4+ feel no pain stratagem back. So you have to be very careful how you play them. The 4+ feel no pain is you can play around it, but you're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to shoot them, and they're gonna take it at some points in the game. They're gonna take the 4+s almost every turn. If not every turn, they're gonna use it. That's not to say they're not going to use stratagems in their turn. They are going to use some stratagems in their turn because they're going to want their I think it's +1 hit wound or reroll. No, it's reroll hit wound or something like that. stratagem on Magnus the Red, which is honestly the best model in the entire game. And that's attachment. It is the single best model. But luckily, what they don't have is as many units as you. You have a lot more units if you're running it the way I'm running it. You're going to have a lot more infantry, a lot of transports, and the Dread Knights. You're going to be around covering that board. Um, and you might say, okay, well, I want Magnus comes on, he pokes his head on, he puts some shots and kill you. You might think, okay, I want to roll and try to get, take a little bit of a risk and get to that Magnus. Well, Magnus is honestly, unless he puts himself in like really bad position where he can get shot by your whole army and charged by a good amount of your army, Magnus is probably not going down. He's got good toughness. So he's going to be, you're not going to be doing great with your side cannons in them. He's got a good 4+ symbol save, a good 2+ armor. So all your bolters, all your shots are just going to kind of bounce. And he's got a strat. They have a stratagem to negate damage on one thing. So even your last cannon shots, you finally get one of those things through. They're probably just going to negate the damage on it. It's just a one command point stratagem on a character, and they take 0 damage on that attack. Magnus is probably not going to be your primary target. Now, what is your primary target? Well, Thousand Suns have a lot of damage, and they can go real hard, real fast. I think Quinn said best when I saw Quinn from Art of War. He talked about it in a video. He's like, "Oh, Thousand Suns are like they're in their tower chanting or whatever." And Quentin said that like as long as they're doing what they're doing with their getting their cabal points, they're gonna kill any army in the game. But what you got to do is you got to prevent that tower from keep going off, which means you got to take their cabal points down. How do you take their cabal points down? You got to start killing units. You have to start pushing into their infantry and their terminary units, or most likely their rubrics. Every single rubric is going to give them cabal points, rubric unit, and all their sorcerers, which I'm sure they're going to have a lot of them. They're all going to give them cabal points. Magnus is going to give them cabal points too, but you can't really do much about Magnus right now. You're going to hit Magnus eventually, but you're not going to hit him right away unless he puts himself in a real bad position. You are going to want to hit their rubrics. You're going to want to start taking away their cabal points. Once their cabal points go lower, what they get to do has become a lot lower. It's going to be a real bad situation if Magnus comes out and you put your whole army into Magnus and he doesn't die, and now his whole army hits you and he has all of his cabal points as well. It's going to be a much better situation if you hit, a couple units, you kill their units with their attached character, you take his cabal points down. He's got less units to move up, hold objectives, to fight you, to shoot you, and less cabal points to do it with. So you're gonna want to target those units. Now, it's gonna be tough. They're gonna put no pain on them for psychic attacks. So if you can try to position onto a couple units or position units to be able to hit 2 units, that way you keep hitting the 1 unit until he pops a 4+ no pain, and then you go ahead and take out that other unit. Or if you have to, you commit completely to that 1 unit to take out it. If it's a key unit, you can take it out with the 4+ no pain. They're going to have this thing called an Infernal Master with they have a very, very good enhancement that gives them like +1 damage. You want to ask them where that is. Where is that +1 damage? I think it's +1 strength too in Infernal Master. That is going to be one of your early priorities. That guy running around and getting 2 or 3 activations on you will take out a lot of your infantry, and even on your Dread Knights, if they're sitting on an objective, they hit better when they're on objectives. It's even dangerous into your Dread Knights. So you really want to prioritize picking that guy up. If you can pick that guy up early with the squad, you've already hit their cabal points and you've hit a good amount of their damage into you right away. Magnus is going to get at least 2 good turns into you. He's going to come out, he's going to blow whatever he hits away for a turn. Hopefully turn 1 you pushed up. If you're running a list like mine, you're going to blow away some transports, which is just fine. And then you're going to go up, you're going to hit his Marines again, you're going to hit his Rubiks, you're going to hit his Sorcerers. And then Magnus is going to hit you again. It's going to hurt. You're going to lose units. But luckily, you've got a lot of units. You got 14 units if you're running an army like mine, or you're not running an army like mine. You've probably got, hopefully, you got a similar army. You're running some transports like mine. The best low pointed unit we have for like 85 points versus taking 120 point strike squads. Every time you lose one unit, it's going to hurt. You're going to lose Rubik's. I'm going to say you're going to lose units to Magnus. Magnus is going to come up. He's going to hit you. He's going to hit you hard for 2 turns in a row. But you really want to focus on all those other units. It's going to give him less board control, less ability to score, less ability to do actions, and it's going to take his cabal points down. He's going to be able to do his Doom Bolt less. It's just kind of how you want to play. The more units you take down his, the less the slower your army is going to get killed. After the first couple turns, you're going to feel real bad because you're going to take a lot of damage, but you're going to be putting out damage too. You can't mess around with that 4+ feel no pain though. If he puts that 4+ feel no pain on a unit, it's not going to go down easy, and it's not going to go down if you go half commit to it. You have to commit to those units. If you decide to go for one unit, you have to commit to those units. Otherwise than that, it should be a game for you. You should be able to win that game. If you play it right and you keep scoring your points. You play the mission, you keep scoring your points, denying them their points, taking them off their objectives when they can. Be careful about just jumping on your own objectives, because your own objectives are going to have like a little double-edged sword for you. You're going to be able to be on your own objective scoring, but the midfield objectives, but they're going to get bonuses when they attack you. Now that you're on an objective and you control an objective, so just target those sorcerers, target those rubrics. If it's terminators, dive one big terminator brick at a time, and you should be all right. You should be able to pull out. They don't have a ton of units, so once their army starts falling apart, that tower, like when Quinn talked about, starts falling apart. And eventually, you go ahead and say, okay, he's been taken down hard enough. Magnus is now my number one concern, and you can maybe push into Magnus and kill him. He doesn't get -1 damage for psych attack, so all of a sudden now that's gone. His -1 damage ability is gone. Not something you got to worry about. That other armies have to worry about, because you are psychic, and you can go in him and make sure you save that command point. You want to make sure you save at least 1 or 2 command points, because you're going to want to throw a grenade into Magnus, and you're probably going to want to take shotgun when you do go for him. He's only so many wounds. I think he's 16 wounds. You want to be able to drop Magnus when you do go for him, because if you just half drop him, it's not good. He's gonna all that stuff that you committed to him. You could have committed to his sorcerers or his rubrics. You want to drop him when you go for him, and grenades and take shock really help. That being said, let's move on to Death Guard. Death Guard is tough. It is Death Guard, so I'm not trying to be funny there. It's a tough armor to fight. You might think the first 2 turns it will usually lull you into a false sense of security, because you've got a lot of guns, and Death Guard doesn't have like a top tier non the gun. They've got guns, but they don't have like guns like you do. They don't have weight of fire and lots of strength 10 AP3 shots, AP2 damage 3 shots. They're probably going to be around Death Shot Terminators. Death Shot Terminators are very good. And you might say, okay, those are 3 wound Terminators. My sight cannons should tear that apart. The sight cannons, they're inconsistent against those Death Guard. You have hitting on 3s usually. If he gets close to you, you might be hitting on 4s. If they get close to you. 4-reroll, even with the 4-reroll hits, I mean, you might probably miss 1 or 2. And then all of a sudden, especially if you're hitting on 4s, you might hit 2 or 3. And then all of a sudden you're wounding on 4s because they're -1 to wound. So, and then they get their 4+ symbols. So you only basically take out 1 Terminator shot. If you're lucky, you'll get 2. If you get real lucky, you might get 3. But usually you just take out about 2, 1 or 2. And those Death Shot Terminators, while they're slow and they don't they're not going to be shooting you that hard, when they get close to you, they will drop your units. They will debuff you enough where you become very inefficient into them, and they're going to be hurting you pretty hard. You you there's a weird thing people say about my army. Um, when I fight those close combat armies, people always comment about, oh, I don't do as well against shooting armies, or they'll comment about how my army's a shooting army. And then when I fight those shooting armies, a lot of times they'll comment about how, oh, they have problems against the close combat armies. Well, I'm not really a shooting or a close combat army. I know it feels that way when they play against me because I can do both. But I do lean on what I need per game, and in that game, you need your guns. You need to you score your points, play it safe, play it slow for a few turns. Not to say hide, but to actually like don't get up in people's faces right away. And you need to with your infantry and your dread knights, and you need to keep shooting them. That is your big advantage against those guys. And my son's restless. Um, and you're going to want to keep putting out those shots. You're going to want to keep taking down their units at range, so that when you do decide to go into them, hopefully they're just at a couple models left, and you can pick them up when you go into them. Death Guard love getting near you. They debuff you, either your armor save or your ballistic skill, weapon skill, which is going to really hurt you. And they also debuff your toughness. So their army, all their breakpoints get a lot better when they're near you. And that's not good for you because you will start losing units very, very fast. So you need to shoot them at range. Mortarion is a very tough guy to take down. Toughness 12, feel no pain 5 plus. If he rapidly aggresses them and moves up right into your army, and you take the minus ballistic skill, weapon skill, and then you start to shoot him, he's gonna and he goes -1 to hit with miasma pestilence stratagem that he has. He's gonna be extremely hard to take down. And I know that we can take down some big units with 4-year-old hits and wounds. Mortarion though is tough. I would recommend if somebody's playing Mortarion like that and he plays very aggressive, maybe take a turn away, step away from Mortarion. The more you deal with all of his other units, the better the game is going to go for you. They're slow. He's probably going to have some rapid ingressing Terminators, but that's okay. You can deal with them when they come in. If he's got Predators, Destructors, and Annihilators, I would take those and take shots at range with your last cannons and your side cannon to take them out. I wouldn't get too concerned about running into close combat with those because usually they're right next to their close combat units. Be careful about charging Plague Marines. Plague Marines are unusually good with their weapons. You see this Terminator unit, you see this little infantry unit, and you might think, oh, okay, I can take that. That thing probably won't hit that hard. Well, they're carrying heavy plague weapons and like bubonic weapons, and they're very kitted to close combat well. Especially if they have the fight first guy and the crit hits on 5 guy. You need to ask them if they have the fight first character, and you also need to find out if they have a crit hit on 5's character. Usually that squad's going to be in a Rhino, and that's also going to be a squad that you want to pick up with shooting. You want to maximize your bolters and your anti-infantry shots from your purifiers. So overall, if you stay at distance and shoot them for a couple rounds while trying to hold your objectives, play it safe and don't just, shoot them. Like I'd say most games I'll on my go turns, I'll push up, I'll shoot and charge, and I'll get a lot of units in combat. This is not one of those games. This is a game where you want to be shooting at least a couple rounds into them before you start going into them and taking them up. I know it gets dicey because those Predators, if they're running Predators and Mephitic Blight Haulers and flying blow drones are going to be hitting you all over the place. And you want to pick those up where you can. Just know that every time you pick up units, it's going to be hard for him to recover on that side of the board where you picked him up because his units and his good units are very slow. Because the Plague Marines are slow and the Terminators are very slow. So just be mindful of how you interact with them, because once it's very deceiving thinking that, okay, I've hurt them enough, I can go in. Um, and then all of a sudden you go in and you sit stuck in a combat that you start to lose over time because they've debuffed you to the point where you're not a very efficient to them, but they're efficiently hitting you and killing you. And now all of a sudden now they have that objective you were fighting over, and you've lost a lot of resources trying to fight over it into like a little, like two or three uh um Deathshot Terminators that you thought you could run up and kill. The sorcerers on the Deathshot Terminator are -1 damage. They have a dice of damage ability, so all your damage two goes down to damage one. Just like I said, like it becomes very, very dicey and statistically bad for you moving into the close combat with those things too early. You want to make sure that you've wounded them enough with your shooting to go and take them out. Um, I know I said ignore Mortarion for a little bit, and that is an important key thing. Mortarion only puts out so much damage. He's extremely tough, but his damage is not overwhelmingly high. He's not like Magnus, where he's putting out tons of psychic powers. He's not like Angron, that's going to be completely wiping units when he hits them. He's going to swing, and he might not even pick up a whole unit when he swings. Most likely he will, but he's only going to really take out one unit a turn. And just let Magnus do his thing. Just say, all right, I'm going to play around Magnus. I'm going to run over. I'm going to pick up all these units over here. I'm going to pick up all these units over here. Magnus can do his thing. He can take some shots. I'll push some shots into him when I can. And eventually you might, go deal with Magnus. Kind of like I said, not Magnus, Mortarion. Just like kind of said in the Thousand Suns, like, you want to pick up their rubrics first. You want to pick up the Plague Marines, you want to pick up the Deathshot Terminators and the Predator Annihilators and Destructors, the Mythic Blight Holders, and the Blow Drones first. And then pick up Mortarion. It's not something it's a bad turn when Mortarion moves up and you put your whole army into him, and now Mortarion is alive, and you've given them basically two whole turns because they probably ran everything out there with their infantry. It's so slow and advanced to get in better position. And then again, now they're moving up and they're probably hitting you in combat, or they're advancing again to be right in front of your face with your infantry, with their infantry. And now next turn you kill Mortarion, but now you get hit by all their infantry that's debuffing you, and it's a bad situation. So utilize your guns, utilize your stratagems, tough army. So use your grenades. Don't be too concerned about overwatching all the time. Be more concerned about throwing out mortals with grenades and take shock and whatnot. And just be smart with how you approach your close combat, because if there's so many debuffs they have that if you hit their hitting their close combat could be very tricky. It's kind of a game you kind of need to play test a couple times and then get that realization. Oh, wait a sec. I have done what I needed to do normally, where I've weakened them in shooting and I've charged in, but my normal strategy is not working. So being able to do damage with them at range is going to be your advantage, and you need to take full advantage of that, and you need to do it for at least a couple turns usually. That being said, you should be able to win that game. All their units still die. And their stat lines are not going to be like crazy for you because Terminator only damage only three wounds each, 2 wounds each on Plague Marines. The Blight Haulers and Blow Drones are going to be able to take them down by your side cannons and your las cannons. Yeah, pretty much it. Cultists are going to go down. So it should be a good game for you, but it's going to be a tough game. Just like I said in the beginning, it's Death Guard. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. One more thing. Typhus kind of jumps around and does mortal wounds to you. You want to kill him with Typhus. Depending on how they're running him, you might want to hold back a little bit if he's in a big squad and you've got some other priorities to kill because you want to score your points. But Typhus, you don't want Typhus putting out too much damage to you over multiple turns. You do want to kill him. The mortal wounds do kind of add up that he can put out. He's kind of like a little librarian for them, or like a librarian for them, where he's going to throw out like a um what's it called, like a casino machine of how many here, you kind of rolling the dice on that casino to see how many mortals you do. But otherwise, yeah, thank you very much. And if you like the content, please like and subscribe. And you can put down in the comments if you want to talk about me and talk about the next mashups you'd like to hear. And as always, please have a great day and have a great weekend. I've got as far as tournament goes, this weekend I've got a little family vacation, but next weekend I'll be going to an RTT, and the following weekend I'll be playing another tournament as well. I haven't decided which one I'm going to go to yet, but yeah, some more tournament feedback from me soon, and hopefully I do well. And thank you very so much, and have a great weekend.